The April 22nd, 2019 meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Baroth. Chairman Brew.
With enthusiasm.
Ms. DeFlorio.
Here.
Mr. Flagler Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Howland is excused. Mr. Mafucci.
Here.
Mr. Wilt.
Present.
And President Carbone.
Here.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There is not.
Is there anyone present who has not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time? Legislator Baroth.
Serious. I just want to make note that today's Earth Day, and I want, since it's the Environmental Public Works Committee, to make note of that and to, congratulate us all on actually being supportive of making the world a better place by being here, and I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. You have the March 25th, 2019 minutes of the Environment and Public Works Committee before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Mr. Clerk.
Referral 19-0091.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Legislator Wilt, seconded by Legislator DeFlorio. Any discussion? Legislator Flagler Mitchell.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just through you to the administration, is there a ceremony time set yet for May 17th?
Through the chair, I would suggest that maybe that the president has much of the information with regards to what's going to go on and the dates associated with the ceremony.
Through the chair, there'll be a plaque dedicating the county office building, fourth floor concourse, Friday, May 17th. But I don't have a time yet.
Okay.
Do we have a time? We'll get the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Item carries. Next item, please.
Referral 19-0108.
Moved by Legislator DeFlorio, seconded by President Carbone. Legislator DeFlorio.
Through the chair to the administration, can we just get a little background and the reasoning behind the update of the monument network?
Through the chair, yes. I think that what really brought this all to need to happen is that there's been such a period of time of change since the initial law was enacted, and there's been many changes, very significant changes in the survey equipment that we use today. We were able to measure much more accurately, much more quickly, and so that's a big factor in needing to update those requirements and to include some language that addresses the use of GPS, which of course didn't exist back then. The other side of it is there are security deposits required for work near a monument, and the dollar amounts that were representative at that time really didn't do much to secure anything today, so we needed to update that amount as well.
Thank you.
Legislator Baroth.
I went through the referral and particularly
Through the chair.
Through the chair, I went through the referral. Actually, I did it on my own, then I'll speak through the chair. I went through the referral to check out some of the language changes, and a lot of it made sense. I went through and checked out the changes, and I had a few questions. Particularly, I'm going to go to near the end under violations and penalties. I did understand the increase of from $150 to $3,000. That made sense. But does anyone ever get jailed or imprisoned for this up to 150 days? Does that actually happen through the chair?
Through the chair, I'm not aware of that ever occurring. I think this was a continuation of the original language of the law.
Okay. I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but it's just a surprise to me through the chair. Again, looking at it through the chair, I noticed the change in language from county manager to county executive and serve at her pleasure as opposed to his pleasure, which makes sense given we currently have a female county executive. But I also note that throughout the document, we don't actually include gender-inclusive language, and I would suggest we would want to do that. Does the administration have any comments on this through the chair?
Through the chair, that issue was raised at a previous committee, and that the reference to the county executive as a female is in error, and we're going to make a gender-neutral change of language there. And we're looking at exactly how to affect that change, whether it's acknowledges a Scrivener's error, or whether or not we have to actually make an amendment to it. But I think we can just do it as a Scrivener's error. This is not the intent.
From my point of view, through the chair, I mean, whichever way, just, you know, it's an easy clear-cut fix. This should occur. Then also on on section 5 of the local law change, if I read through the changes on the second sentence. So it says a minimum of 3 corners of the boundaries of the project shall show the corners of said points as reduced to grid. Is that correct, through the chair?
Through the chair, yes, that's commonly how we refer to the coordinate system that we relate our surveys to.
Okay, so that's not an error. It's not, okay, fair enough, fine. And then finally, through the chair of the administration, not section 3, am I correct to assume that currently, although it's not reflected in the local law, but currently, these maps are currently filed in the Monroe County Clerk's office?
Through the chair, yes. These are maps that are filed as subdivision maps.
Okay. Through the chair of the administration, if they weren't in the local law before, back in 1983, I presume, where were they filed prior to that?
Through the chair, the maps have always been filed in the clerk's office. The law was enacted in '71, and at that time it required some additional survey-related exercises that occur to bring the surveys up to that level of standard.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. And then finally, it just kills me. Through the chair, what does plat mean? What's a plat?
It's simply another name for a subdivision map, survey map. That's filed and creates individual lots.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that information.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? There being no other matters, April 22nd, 2019 meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee will be held on Monday, May 20th, 2019 at 5:45 p.m.